Okay, for this video, we're going to talk about how to move during your speech. Just want to make sure my volume is right. Okay, so when you're giving your speech, you'll be standing in front of the room, and you want to move every time you transition between points. So we follow a speaker's diamond, and we move as if you're playing baseball. So home base is your intro. First point is first base. Second point is second base. Third point, third base. And back to home is your conclusion. So you're just going the bases. And every time you transition between a point, you're physically going to move. That helps your body to give it time to move and time to get your wiggles out while staying organized, and it helps you to try to decrease your nervous movements. So I have my intro, or I have my note card. I'm going to start here. I'm speaking. I'm using my hands to gesture. Notice how my note card's not flopping around. As I start to talk about my first point, I'm going to move over to first base. And while I do that, I turn my note card. So watch again. I'm going to I don't even have to look at my note card because I'm just turning the page. This is my first point. Remember, there's two sides to your first point. So while I'm talking about it, I'm also going to flip the card so I can go to 2B. So now I'm transitioning. As I'm saying my transition out loud, I'm physically moving and turning my page. Here's my second point. I have my second point on here. Second point, second point, second point, second point. As I'm saying my transition, I'm moving over to this third point, flipping my card, look at it, talk to you, third point, Now, as I'm moving to my conclusion, I'm starting to review. I move back to home base. I turn my page one more time, and I end my speech here. So we're moving in a baseball diamond. A lot of people tend to have nervous leg movements where they want to pace. Doing this formulaic movement, the speaker's diamond, helps you to decrease that. And then your feet stay still and you use your hands to gesture. Now, if you're using a visual aid, which for this speech you are, which we will talk about in class on Thursday, you're going to have to modify this. Because for my second point, I would be standing in front of my screen, which is what we do not want. So you will not have a visual aid for your first slide. Usually you don't have one when you have your introduction. So I'll start in the middle again. My first point, I'll go over to first base, and then I'm not covering the screen, and I could gesture to it. Now, for my second point, instead of moving in front of it, I'm just going to go to the other side of the screen. So I'm just going to come over here. Now you can see the slide. I'm not in front of it, but I have purposefully moved to the other side during this point. So because I'm over here, which is normally my third point, again, as I transition, I'm just going to go back to the other side. So instead of moving a diamond, you start and end as you normally would, but then you're kind of just going to zigzag. So this is my third point I'm speaking. You won't have a slide for your conclusion, so you can go back to the middle, back to home base for your third point. So you just kind of zigzag instead. Start normal, and then second point, you go all the way to the other side, third point all the way to the other side. You never want to stand in front of your screen so that your audience can always see what you have on the screen. Okay, and that's how you should move during your speech. You should have hand gestures, you should have this purposeful feet movement, and your goal should try to be to decrease your nervous movements while speaking. And a great way to practice that is to practice your speech. You should be practicing your speech at least a couple times a day once your note card is done because it gets your mouth more comfortable saying the words. It helps you to feel more prepared. You can also practice timing it so you can see where you're at to make sure you're within the time limit. If you have any questions, let me know.